everyone, and welcome to our Town Hall Forum. Today we're talking about traveling to Canada. This is our second session on the topic. My name is Carolina. I would like to introduce you guys today to the session. Today we're talking about updates, dates, and deadlines, traveling to Canada, COVID-19 here in BC, Canada, vaccination and travel insurance, and then at the end we're doing a live question and answer session for you to get all of your questions answered live. I'd like to introduce our members on the panel today. So Chelsea Cierno, the recruitment manager, and Claire Goth is joining us later. She's the campus nurse. Hi everyone. I'll pass it on to Chelsea for our presentation. And then when we're back, we're doing the live Q&A. Just a heads up, the chat is off right now. So once we finish the presentation, you'll be able to ask your questions live on the chat and we'll answer them. Just a reminder to keep the questions strictly to the session. And then later you can connect with your fellow colleagues. I'll pass it on to Chelsea.
Perfect. Thank you, Carolina. And a very good morning to everybody from Vancouver. Good evening to wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Carolina, for introducing sort of what we're going to go over today. But we wanted to take this opportunity to connect with everybody one last time before the big push for travel. And just to update you on the most recent changes and guidelines of what's happening overall. And so first and foremost, guys, we can't wait to welcome you to Vancouver. You already know it's a fantastic city. You're coming to Columbia College, which is in the heart of it. So this is sort of step one for us welcoming you into our amazing city and into our college community. So we're going to get started here with the updates overall, some dates and deadlines to pay attention to because things are approaching quickly. Okay, so before all of that, let's talk about how class will be delivered for fall 2021. As I'm sure most of you are aware, the BC government has mandated post-secondary institutions to return to classes for fall 2021. So we will be returning to class, but we will be also offering online for those students who are unable to travel. And on this note, please note that we will be enforcing whatever the BC public health advice is to keep staff and students safe at all times. So if it changes throughout the semester, we will change as well. On that note, we will be asking students and staff to wear masks in all public spaces for fall 2021, just to keep everybody safe. And just as we know, one last moment here, you will be able to travel to Canada at a later date if your study permit is approved a little bit later and starting online. So building on this, we will be offering 3 types of classes for fall 2021. So if you're confirmed and you're starting your registration later this week, please pay attention to which type of class you are going to register for. So for face-to-face delivery, these courses are on campus every week, just like a regular semester. On this note, you must have cleared quarantine or arrived in Canada by September 12th to attend face-to-face classes. And as a reminder, these classes will be face-to-face for the whole semester. There will not be a hybrid model. So if you choose face-to-face, you're expected to be there every session. Then we'll be offering online in 2 different formats. The first will be synchronous. So this means this is a set time. So it's just an online class like this, but it has a specific date and time each week. The other will be flex classes. These are classes that are done ahead of time and that you can access from your own computer, from wherever you are in the world at any time zone. So we call it flex because it's more flexible for you, okay? So please also keep in mind that if you register in online classes for fall, it will be online for the whole semester. So even if you travel to Canada at the end of September, your classes will remain online. You can access the campus and everything we have. However, your class method will not change. Okay, so please pay careful attention when you're picking those classes. And on this note, if you have not confirmed your enrollment, please confirm your enrollment with us this week. Also, if you have a study permit, some movement, please let us know so we can update your status overall. But for new students, please confirm your enrollment. We have the link there. You'll find it on our website. The deadline has been extended to August 27th. Please fill this out because this is what signals orientation and registration. If you do not confirm your registration, we do not know that you're coming or that you're studying online and you want access to courses. Okay, just as a side note, if you're a continuing student and you're just traveling for the first time, you don't need to confirm your enrollment. Okay, so this is new students only. So just as a summary of the deadlines for admissions right now, August 27th is our deadline for you to receive, to confirm and then receive an orientation appointment. September 3rd is the last day to register at classes. So we're coming down to the final sort of sessions here. Please make sure your email is up to date with admissions. So when we're reaching out to you, we're reaching the right person. Check your email all the time now. Check your spam and your junk as well, because sometimes it ends up in the wrong area. And when you email us from now on, please always use your full name and student ID because it helps us respond to you faster. I don't know who you are, so I can't give you an adequate answer. Okay, so please include all the information. So orientation, for our dates and deadlines, there's quite a few here, so pay careful attention. You will be able to access this later, and it is all on our website. So orientation and registration begins on the 25th, so that's tomorrow. Okay, so we've got to wrap things up to get everybody on this list. So if you've already confirmed your registration, you would have known on the 13th you got access to your email in the portal. On the 17th, you should have been contacted by a student engagement ambassador who is going to help you go through the first couple of weeks of your classes and just be as a mentor for you here at school. August 20th, this week, we released the Columbia College 101 module. This is a self-paced program that helps you learn everything about Columbia College since orientation is still online. And at August 25th, the Welcome to Columbia College and registration sessions will begin. Okay. So moving into September, as we said, September 3rd is the last day to register. September 7th is the first day of classes. And September 13th is the last day you can change or amend your timetable. We did do a town hall on pre-arrival focusing on orientation. If you want to watch this, the link is there, or you can go to our YouTube page because this was done with our student services manager and really answered a lot of those questions in detail for you. Okay. Quick note on visas and deferrals here. We will only grant deferrals if your study permit has not been received yet or extenuating circumstances. So please inform us by the 27th of what your decision is. However, please note if you're coming from one of the SDS programs for winter and summer, you must register in fall or you will give up your seat for the next available intake, because we have a lot of deferrals and we need to get everybody started on their program. And then for your awaiting your visa, please remember that you can start online with or without a study permit this semester. So if you want to start online and your study permit is still waiting, you can start. We just have to see the proof of your visa application before an orientation appointment can be booked. And you will have some opportunities for refunds based off of study permit rejections up until September 10th. Okay. So I'll elaborate here. If you receive a study permit rejection before September 10th, so if you were studying online last semester, or now you're starting, you will get a full refund of your tuition deposit. But if your study permit rejection comes after September 10th, you will only receive a refund for your second semester tuition, not your first semester. But the good thing is that you are able to proceed with the rest of your semester, get full credit. We're not going to kick you out of your classes, but we will not allow you to register in a second semester without a valid study permit. Okay. On this note, Columbia College has very, very high approval rates for SDS programs in particular. So this is something that can give you a little bit of peace of mind. Okay. Other than that, today is the last day to have any other refund without penalties. So please contact admissions if you need any help with this. Okay, so moving on to travel, guys. We know it's a little bit difficult, a little bit nerve-wracking right now. Rules are changing constantly. So this is why we wanted to do this one more time for you. So now that the August 9th deadline or date has passed, entering Canada all depends on your vaccination status now. I have provided the link there for the federal requirements as well as information on how to download ArriveCan, because you should stay up to date with federal requirements as well. But as it stands right now, international students are eligible to enter Canada with a valid study permit and a negative PCR test prior to arrival. And then from there, the categories depend on your vaccination status. One quick note here is that if you are traveling from a country that has a travel ban and you're going through a third country, please make sure you know their travel requirements, because we cannot stay on top of this, so we can't advise you on third country travel accordingly. Okay, so let's get into it here. Vaccinated travelers. Okay, so effective August 9th, fully vaccinated travelers are not subject to quarantine, nor is the hotel piece there anymore. And you also do not have to do the day 8 COVID test once you're here. It will be now a random test. Anyways, to be considered fully vaccinated, you can see that there are 4 vaccines that are approved by the Government of Canada. So you must have 2 of these doses to be considered fully vaccinated, and you must carry physical and digital copies of these in English or French. Please note, however, if you are fully vaccinated, you must still fill out the self-isolation forms and all the information in ArriveCan with your quarantine information should you test negative or have some sort of transmission take place en route to Canada. So please make sure you're still providing that information. Okay, unvaccinated travelers, if you have only had 1 dose or no doses at all, you must prepare to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival in Canada. So nothing has changed in this area, except for there's no longer the hotel component of it. So you're going to go to one location for 14 days. So this can be a private facility, a friend or family, hotel, or homestay. You will also have to do the COVID test upon arrival and on day 8. Okay, so this part is still staying the same, and the link for all the information is there. So on this note for quarantine, we can still help students with their arrival into a homestay program for quarantine. You must reach out to Rosemary, our homestay coordinator, as soon as possible because the program is filling up and we want to make sure we have room for you before you book everything. But just as a quick note, it's $1,000 for 14 days with a private bathroom, or $800 for 14 days with a shared bathroom. This includes your food and everything, so it is quite an affordable quarantine package. Okay. And just to elaborate here on quarantine, guys, I'm sure this is an old story now. It's not news anymore, but take quarantine seriously in Canada, as this is how we are able to continue opening up and stop the transmission here. So when you do arrive in Canada, you must go immediately to your quarantine destination. No stopping and visiting people, getting a SIM card, getting groceries. You must go directly there. Nobody can visit you as well. Okay, so if you do have friends or family dropping food off, it has to be done outside or a way that you can get to it safely. And so please make sure you're making all those considerations. Quarantine does get a bit tough, guys. 14 days in one room is not easy. So please make sure you are bringing enough things to entertain yourself, but also pay attention to our clubs and activities and our student engagement ambassadors, because they're providing lots of opportunities to help you get through this in a less painful way overall. And just one more note here is that you will be receiving numerous checks while you're in quarantine. And it is imperative that you respond to those checks. They will be coming from the Government of Canada, the Government of British Columbia, and Columbia College. We will be calling you several times throughout your quarantine just to check in on you, pass information, and see how you're doing. I need to emphasize here that this is very important that you take quarantine seriously and you respond. because failure to respond or failure to abide by quarantine is punishable by law in Canada, and there will be repercussions with both the government and Columbia College for those who are caught disobeying quarantine. I cannot stress enough how important this is. Do your part. It's an immense privilege that you've been allowed to enter Canada. Please follow the rules for 14 days, and then you're free to live your life from there, okay? Just a few notes just to add on here is that please make sure you do have a Canadian phone number input. So if you don't have a phone number, try to have a phone number of the place that you're staying on file in case we need to reach you by phone. Please check your email and your Teams, because if you're a student, you will have this all set up. We will communicate to you through there. And during quarantine, we will be offering nursing services that you will be able to ask questions about medical insurance, MSP, if you have symptoms, and they'll also help you enroll for a vaccination if you wish to do so from there. So just before I go any further, Claire, do you have anything you want to add to the quarantine piece?
I think you covered it pretty well, Chelsea.
Okay, perfect. Good. Just going to move on then. Okay, guys, so that's the nitty-gritty of arranging your, how you're going to enter Canada. So prior to departure, there are many things you need to arrange as well. So once your travel plans are solidified, you need to go onto our website and fill out our travel form. Most of you will be getting a travel package from us that's outlining all of this as well, but it's on the website. You also should arrange your airport pickup if you need it. Make sure you've downloaded ArriveCan and input all the information there. You also need to make sure your medical insurance is arranged prior to travel, and you should have a negative COVID test 3 days prior to departure. Okay, and again, as a reminder, if you are traveling indirectly, please check the latest travel reports of all of the countries involved so that you're fully aware and you have no surprises along the way. Okay. Travel letters are still continuing to be issued until we are told they're no longer necessary. Please note, if you're traveling from a country where there's a travel ban like India, we will not issue any travel letters until the travel ban is lifted, unless you're traveling from an indirect route. So don't ask us for a travel letter because you're not allowed to travel from that country at the moment unless you're going through a third country. Again, making sure all your information is up to date on our self-isolation form on our website with your copy of your airline ticket as well and your vaccination status if you have it, so that we can make everything ready for you. We will not give you this letter until everything is complete, so follow the instructions accordingly. Okay. Travel documents. We're getting lots of questions about this, so please pay careful attention. You should provide your travel letter from Columbia College and the confirmation of enrollment if you filled this out. You should also provide the travel form that you will fill out with information there. Your ArriveCan app should be downloaded. Proof of medical insurance, like we talked about, negative COVID tests, your letter of acceptance from Columbia College, digital and physical copies of your vaccinations, copies of all academic documents. Please don't forget to bring your documents and your passport. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Wraps up sort of my section here. I'm going to pass it over to Claire, who's going to give you some very important updates about COVID and vaccinations and all of this. So over to you, Claire.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name's Claire. I'm the nurse at Columbia College, and just wanted to share with you where we are with COVID-19 in British Columbia. So as you might be aware, we are struggling. Our case counts are increasing right now, but the majority of the people that are being diagnosed with COVID-19 are people that are not vaccinated. So we do really strongly encourage you to be vaccinated. We help you to register for your vaccine if you are not vaccinated as soon as you arrive. And I'm happy to answer any questions about any of the vaccines that we provide here, that we offer to our residents in British Columbia. Proud to say that we are over 75% fully vaccinated. That's both vaccines, and that our second dose is now 28 days after our first dose. So if you're not vaccinated and you would like to be, you can definitely do that here in BC. In the Vancouver and Lower Mainland area, we are lucky to have quite a number of activities that are open to us. If you want to know more about what's allowed and what's not allowed, you can go to the 2.gov.bc site that is listed in the slide there, and that'll talk to you, that'll explain some of the restrictions and some of the activities that are open for students to explore when you arrive. In the college, we will be wearing masks when we return in September, and that's because it's an easy safety measure that we can take that isn't going to prevent or inhibit any of the other economic changes that require a more significant changes. So it's a good way to prevent anybody from getting sick and to stay open, and that's why we're going to continue to do it. This was just released. So yesterday, our medical health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, announced that we would be coming up with something called the BC vaccine card. So if you are fully immunized, they'll release a website shortly where you can upload your vaccine documentation, and then you would be given this vaccine card, which is, I believe, something that can be online, like you would be able to use your phone to access it. And once you have that, you can participate in a lot of the activities that are going on in the province, such as indoor-outdoor dining, going to the gym, various events like concerts. And they want you to have at least one dose of the vaccine by September 13th. But if you arrive at September, in the early part of September, you can still access these activities once you've been vaccinated. So it won't prevent you from coming into the province, but you'd want to get your vaccine as quickly as possible so that you can take part in some of these fun activities. Oh, sorry, here, okay. Okay, so the COVID-19 vaccine can, basically here in BC, we'd be giving you the mRNA vaccines. These are the gold standard in COVID vaccines. Most likely, if you're under 18, you would definitely get the Pfizer. Most likely you'll get the Pfizer vaccine, but you may get one of the Moderna vaccines. Again, those are the mRNA protein spike vaccines, and they're very effective and very safe. If you would like help registering to get your vaccine, again, that's what I'm here for, so I can help you to do that when you arrive. I'll reach out to you, or you are more than welcome to connect with me. If you have not had your vaccine and you're in quarantine, I'll definitely connect with you and help you to get that. There are many clinics all across the Lower Mainland where you can go in, get the vaccine. There's no cost to that vaccine right now. And you do not need to have any one particular type of insurance to get it. It's just a registration process. So I'm more than happy to help you with that. And if you'd like more information about vaccine here in BC, you can check out this great website, immunizebc.ca. Sorry. Okay, so wanted to talk to you about medical insurance. In Canada, healthcare is very expensive. So at Columbia College, we require you to have medical insurance. So when you first arrive, on your first day of being in Canada, you'll have GuardMe insurance. This is temporary international insurance provided by the college. And they would send you an email ahead of time with a link to your policy and the policy summary, so the information about what those benefits include. Basically, you would use this if you become sick and need to see a doctor. Anything that's COVID related is covered under that GuardMe insurance. And if you have questions about how that works, I'm happy to answer those. If you need to have that GuardMe policy in place before you leave, so that you can show it as you get on the plane to the various border service agents. Please give us as much notice as you can. So 7 to 10 days notice would be very helpful. And you can do that by sending in your travel isolation form, which you can access on the CC site. If you have questions about your GuardMe insurance, you can email medicalinsurance@columbiacollege.ca. Okay, so then the other type of healthcare insurance in BC is called MSP, or the Medical Services Plan of British Columbia. This is the long-term insurance that you transfer over to. So once you're here, we'll help you to connect with the link, the online link, so that you can apply for MSP. It takes 3 months for MSP to become active. And once you've applied for it, you'll receive your BC Services card with your personal health number. That's what you'd use to see the doctor. And then you'd withdraw from GuardMe. So you can do this when you arrive, and during the orientation process, we'll explain how to and give you the links for how and when to apply. Okay, I think now, Chelsea, if you want to go over some of the reminders.
Yeah, I'm going to pop back in here. Thank you, Claire. And just as a reminder for everybody on this health link part, don't stress about all this information. We know there's a lot of stuff there about the vaccines and about MSP and healthcare. We're going to go through all of this with you again. So don't stress that you need to memorize all this right now. You will have guidance on this again in the future. Okay, so we're just going to sort of pop into the last part of our section here. And let's talk about communication a little bit, because we're getting down to the crunch times here. I'm going to remind you again, always include your full name and student ID when emailing. It might sound silly how much we say this, but you would be surprised at how many students email me, give this whole long story, but don't tell me who they are. And it's like, okay, well, I can't help you. Okay, tell me your student ID. Again, really, really important to check your spam and your junk box, and check your email regularly, because you will be getting updates from the school at all times now. And please update us of any study permit approvals or changes in your arrival details, quarantine locations. If any of that stuff changes, you have to update your forms and your travel letter and all these things. So you need to give us enough time. But do not send more than one email. If you have sent an inquiry to us, give us at least 1 to 2 business days to respond. We receive hundreds of emails from students a day, and we know they're all equally important, but sending 17 emails doesn't make us respond to you faster. It actually slows things down. So please calm down and send 1 email and wait for us to respond. If you haven't had a response in a week, okay, yeah, write to us again. Maybe something got lost or it didn't quite get through, okay? Just one other note, when sending emails to the college now, use proper sentences and grammars and write in the inbox, because it just helps us get to things more quickly. Use proper language, and read your LOA and all of your documents prior to departure, so you know what's required and you're not caught off guard by anything. I apologize, I forgot to put this on the link, but Columbia College is still offering our laptop assistance program as well. So if you don't have a very strong computer, or you need a new one, or you're arriving in Canada and you don't have a great one, you can apply for our laptop assistance program as well, which will help you with your communication and make your sort of academic journey much more smooth. So don't forget to ask about that with student services as well. Okay. And last but not least, guys, orientation is starting tomorrow. Everything we've talked about today about healthcare and all this, it's all going to happen again in orientation, but much more targeted for you. Orientation will guide you through everything you need to know. You're also going to meet really key staff at the school, new friends and other students, the student engagement ambassadors that will guide you through things. So please make sure you fill out that confirmation of enrollment form to get an orientation appointment, okay? We need to have you confirmed so we know to send you all of the updates and get everything going. During your orientation, you will also be doing a math placement test. Okay, so I have provided the link for you here. Every student at Columbia College has to take a math placement test. This is just to make sure you are registering in the right level of courses. And some courses have a co-requisite, meaning you need a certain level of math to obtain that course, even if it's not a math course, okay? So everybody will do this. It needs to be scheduled in advance. So this is a part of your orientation. No MPT, no registration, guys. So it's very important that you get it done. Orientation is fully online, but there will be some campus tours and some access to the community sort of throughout that. But really important to attend this because it's going to teach you everything that you need to know at Columbia College. We don't force you to do this just for fun. It's really to make sure that you're prepared when classes start. And in that, at the last stage of orientation, you will meet with an academic advisor to help you choose your courses, go over the timetable, guide you on the different types of classes, okay? Because we want to make sure you're supported throughout this whole process overall. So orientation is beginning tomorrow, the first date. You have until August 27th, again, as a reminder, to confirm your registration and receive an orientation appointment from there, okay? So orientation is important. It's fun, but please don't miss this. It is mandatory. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to wrap up my section here. I think Carolina will probably take over for our Q&A. So thanks for bearing with us one more time. We really just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of how to get into the country and what you need to prepare ahead of time for the final draw to September. Carolina?
Thank you so much, Chelsea and Claire. I just turned on the chat, so I would encourage everyone to start posting your questions there. Again, I know it's an annoying reminder, but make sure you're just posting things related to the session. That way we can get to all the questions pretty quickly. So I think we have a few questions coming in. Someone is asking, where should they get their medical insurance proof? So
the medical insurance is from GuardMe. So that will basically, once you've completed the CC isolation form, that information is sent off to GuardMe. That's an international insurance company. And they will send you an email directly with your policy in it. And that policy will be effective the day you arrive in Canada.
Thank you, Claire. We have another student asking if they're able to join the online classes even though they're already in Canada.
Yes, I believe so. The one thing we will say on this is that we're trying to leave as many spaces in online classes for students who are not in Canada. So if you can have a balanced timetable with some face-to-face classes if you're here, it would be very much appreciated. But this sort of question, if there's space in the classes, I don't think we can block you from them. But we are encouraging you, if you're in Canada, to come to school and leave those online classes for students who cannot come to Canada.
Thank you, Chelsea. Another question regarding the travel approval form. Where can they get that from?
The travel approval form? I didn't quite hear the second word.
I think what they mean is the travel letter.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, yeah, that's probably it. Thanks, Carolina. Yeah, so the travel letter is issued by admissions at Columbia College. So what you must do is fill out our CC travel form, which is on the website. You must fill in all of the information there so we know where you're staying. You also need to provide your proof of vaccinations if you have them so that we can verify that you're not in quarantine, and then your air ticket, right? So once you have all of this information, you fill out the travel form on the website and we will generate the travel form for you. So once you fill everything on the website, you don't have to email us again saying, hey, I filled out the form. It's automatically going to come to us and we will issue this letter. Normally, it only takes us a day or two to issue the letters, but please allow as much time as possible so we're not scrambling and leaving you without a letter.
Thank you. I see there were some questions that were the same, so I hope that this was answered. So one student is asking if after they finish quarantine, is it mandatory they get vaccinated?
So no, vaccine is not mandatory in BC. However, with this new step, the vaccine card, you will be limited in the type of activities that you are able to do if you're unvaccinated. Not only that, but you are at risk of developing COVID-19. So we do strongly recommend that you vaccinate. And if you have hesitancy or concerns about that, I would like the opportunity to talk to you and hopefully reassure you that the vaccines that we have in Canada are very safe and effective.
Thank you, Claire. We have another student asking if they can travel to Canada even though they have chosen to take online classes.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a study permit and the government has allowed you to enter Canada with that, you can travel to Canada whenever you want. I don't think there's any restrictions. We haven't encountered any problems with that yet because classes are still being offered in sort of a mixed variety. But we do encourage you to travel to Canada as soon as possible if you are able to do so, because we've all seen what sort of happens, lockdowns, vast measures coming in quickly. So if you delay traveling to Canada, you might end up being stuck out for a lot longer. And the other note on this, guys, is we don't know what's going to happen with online classes after December 31st, because this is what the government has approved up until now. So travel to Canada when you can, so we don't avoid any issues with your studies in the future. And it just helps to be, I think, here in the country to be able to access the services at Columbia College, even if your classes are online.
Thank you, Chelsea. I see we have quite a lot of questions regarding orientation. Some students have not received any information regarding orientation yet. Can you maybe talk a bit about who they should contact if they haven't received any information orientation?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a note, if you filled out the orientation or the confirmation of enrollment form yesterday, give us a day or two to sort of make sure we can get up to speed with everything coming through. But if you filled it out more than a couple days ago and you haven't received anything from us, please write to orientation@columbiacollege.ca so we can look into this. But as a reminder, check your junk inbox, check your spam, because things may have gone there. And also make sure that you're checking the email that you provided to us. So if you have 3 emails and you're only checking your Gmail, well, check your other ones, because maybe that was the email that was on file from us. But if you don't have the information that you think you need so far, email orientation@columbiacollege.ca.
Thank you, Chelsea. That's really good. The chat is, there's a lot of questions coming in, so I'll try to get to all of them. Please be patient. How do students know which courses are online and which courses are offline?
Yeah, absolutely. So these courses on the timetable are marked differently. I believe flex courses have an X on them. I'm not 100% sure about the other ones because I'm not in student services, but this will be explained to you very clearly. Okay, so when you go through orientation, your academic advisors will guide you through this, as well as the Columbia College 101 module. So don't worry, you guys, you're not alone in this. We're not expecting you to just boom, register in classes and know everything. There will be guidance through that, but they are clearly marked on the timetable for the different categories.
Thank you, Chelsea. I see some students talking about, this student specifically, talking about how he submitted his enrollment form about a week ago and he has not received a confirmation yet. Who should they contact in that case?
Yeah, absolutely. Write to orientation@columbiacollege.ca or admissions@Columbia College. You can try both, but orientation should be the one, because if you filled out the form, you should have been inputted to the list and they'll be able to check it out. So orientation would be the email I would start with.
Thank you, Chelsea. And if they have missed the MPT test due to some technical difficulties, are they able to reschedule?
Again, you have to contact orientation for this because MPT dates are booked well in advance. So if you missed your date yesterday, the next available one might not be for a week or 5 days or something. So write to orientation to reschedule that because we have to find a date and time that works.
Thank you. I see also we have a lot of questions coming in regarding the medical insurance and how long does it take them to get one. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that again.
Sure. Yeah. So the medical insurance through Columbia College, the GuardMe insurance, is sent to you independently of the college from GuardMe once we've received that travel form. So if you've completed your CC travel self-isolation form on the website, after that it would take about 7 business days, because as soon as we get your information, we send it to GuardMe, and then it takes them a few days to develop a policy and email that policy to you. So if you feel like you need it in order to travel, and not all students do, but if you do, make sure that you give us that travel self-isolation form 7 to 10 days before you travel. And we'll make sure that your GuardMe insurance is in place. And that is insurance for just in Canada here. So you may also want to purchase some private insurance just to cover you while you're traveling to Canada.
And Claire, just to follow up on that, because I see there's some questions coming in, is it mandatory to have the GuardMe insurance?
Yes. And it's provided through the college. Your first semester here in Canada is included. There is no cost. So yes, it's mandatory. And the reason for that is that if you didn't have insurance and you were to arrive in Canada and become sick, even one night's admission to an emergency room hospital here in Canada is over $1,000. So you need to have healthcare insurance here in BC.
Thank you. And also just a reminder, if you're doing the travel insurance that Claire mentioned, please make sure to read to make sure that it covers all possible scenarios, including COVID. A lot of them do not cover any COVID sickness, so please read carefully before purchasing a separate private insurance. For students that haven't received their visa yet, what would you recommend to be their next steps?
Yeah, this is a tough situation for some students. Essentially, you have to choose by August 27th what you are going to do. Okay, if you do not have your visa yet, you have the choice to defer to the next semester or start online while you await your study permit. Everybody has different levels of comforts with this, depending, on how comfortable you are with online learning, your access to technology, your study permit, visa rejection rate in your country. So we can't make that decision for you. It's your decision. However, what we will say, especially if you're from the SDS programs, so these fast track visas, we have super, super, super high visa approval rates. So there's low risk if you're from an SDS program for visa rejection. So we encourage students to start online because there is low risk overall. And as we said, you can start online, you can do your classes just as a regular student. And once your study permit comes, you can travel, or you stay until you're ready to come. So at the end of the day, guys, it's your decision. But by August 27th, you have to decide, okay? Because we have to get you into orientation and registration. So we need you to make that decision in the next couple of days. We can't delay it much further than that.
Thank you, Chelsea. We will get to your questions. Please make sure to only post them once. If you keep posting them, it gets really hard for us to get through them all. For students that have yet to register, when is the deadline to register for their courses?
So the very last day to register in classes is September 3rd. Okay, so September 7th is the first day of classes. So it's just a few days prior to that. So September 7th is the very last day to register, but that means you've already gone through orientation, done your math placement test, everything is solidified, okay? So you're done orientation, you have until September 3rd to register in classes. And then the last day to change classes is September 13th, because sometimes you go to class for 1 week and you say, I really don't like this class, or it's just not working for me, or I want to try a different section. You have until the 13th to change those courses.
We have one comment of a student who says they're a little bit nervous about orientation and registration, about the whole process. What would you recommend them to do, Chelsea?
Just jump on board, okay? This is our job, right, is to make it as smooth as possible for you. So as long as you're scheduled for orientation, you've got your math placement test sort of going, we're going to give you the Columbia College 101 module. This is self-paced, so you don't have to worry about being in a group of 50 students and being shy or nervous. You do this on your own. But we will guide you through the whole process, and you're going to get the student engagement ambassador as well, which is another student at Columbia College who will help you through this. So it's overwhelming, and we're not going to lie, there's so much information that comes in a period of a couple days. So this is why we're here to support you and why we do orientation, because if you don't have that and then all of a sudden you come to classes or you're online, you have no idea what's happening. Okay, so my best advice for you is just jump on board, get going, because the sooner you get access to this stuff, the more time you can to familiarize before classes start. The one thing I will add on this is remember that everybody at Columbia College is brand new as well. So when you're coming into orientation, every single student in those sessions is exactly like you. They have no friends, no family, they don't know what they're doing here. So this is the whole process. The whole point of it is to connect you with each other, but just to smooth out those wrinkles before classes start. So don't be shy or nervous. This is the beginning of your journey. You just have to start.
Thank you. I see a student is having problem with their medical insurance and their courses. Please, your case is very specific, so I would recommend you to email either admissions@columbiacollege.ca or orientation@columbiacollege.ca, and they'll be able to help you regarding your course registration. Regarding enrollment letter and travel letter, Chelsea, which one should they bring when they travel, and is it necessary at all? If you can elaborate a little bit on that.
I believe at the moment we're only issuing travel letters because this is just sort of a summary of your travel when you're coming in. The enrollment letters, I believe, can be requested through your student portal if you're a continuing student, like maybe 2 or 3 semesters ago. But you should contact student services if you need a specific enrollment letter or someone is asking for this. The travel letter, to our best knowledge, is not mandatory, but some border officers are asking for it. It's sort of there just to supplement your letter of acceptance, right, while you're traveling. We haven't had any students be turned away without it this semester, but most people are still requesting it. So to avoid any delays and any issues, we recommend that you get the travel letter, but it's really up to you. The letter of acceptance, theoretically should be sufficient, but we can't control every border in the world and the questions that they're going to ask. So this travel letter is there just to support your travel to Canada at these difficult times.
Thank you. And then you mentioned the student portal. For students that are having trouble logging in, who they can contact to get their login
services. Yeah, guys. So as soon as you're into the system at Columbia College, or if you've done a semester, our job at admissions is sort of to help you get here and get you set up. But then what we do is we pass you off to our other brilliant team, student services, that's there to help you while you're a student. So study portal or the student portal issues, registration, you got to contact student services because we really can't help you. You need to go to the team that specializes in that. So you can email student services at columbiacollege.ca. There's also SSA at columbiacollege.ca. There's your student engagement ambassador. Okay, so whoever you've been assigned to, they can help you as well. Okay, on Teams.
I have a question regarding secondary as well. So this secondary student is saying that it says that if you register for online classes, they are wondering if they need to do it for the whole semester. Does that apply to secondary as well?
Good question and good reminder, Carolina. Thank you, because I always forget to separate this piece. Okay, so on the note of online learning, first and foremost, okay, if you are a secondary student, high school in BC has been open throughout the pandemic, okay? If you are a student who's in the senior secondary program or the adult secondary program, you must travel to Canada or defer your intake, okay? So there is no online option for those programs because that is a ministry requirement to be in Canada for those programs. But if you're an accelerated program or in the UPrep programs or other secondary programs, you can study online. And you can do this for your whole semester, but the best part about secondary is that it's called high flex. So these courses are being offered in a hybrid model where they are online and physical in the instance that students are unable to travel to Canada, or we had to have a sort of shutdown when COVID was really bad. So if you start online in secondary and you travel to Canada, you will then go to physical classes on campus for the secondary program. So thank you so much for bringing that up, because it is the one program that is, once you get here, you have to go back to the classes face to face. And that's the best part about it, guys. High school's open. It's an amazing experience to be on campus for that. So one last summary. If you are an adult secondary student or a senior secondary student, you cannot start online. You must physically be present in Canada or defer your intake to the next available one if you cannot travel.
Thank you, Chelsea. I see some students here saying that they have not received a response yet because they emailed 3 days ago. Just keep in mind that 3 days ago, in Vancouver time, it was Saturday, so give a day or two. You'll probably hear back today or tomorrow from the college.
I just have a quick note on that too, Carolina, from admissions standards. If we have been emailing students about deferring or registering, if you've requested a deferral, we have got your email, okay? We're marking them accordingly. We will process your deferrals after orientation and registration. So if you've emailed and you haven't got a response back because you requested a deferral, don't worry, I got it, or admissions got it. We are marking it. We're not going to respond to every student that is requesting a deferral until we're done with orientation and registration, okay? So I thought I'd point that in there because I'm sure a lot of students, I've probably received about 20 emails in the last day and I haven't responded, but that's because they're deferrals, okay?
Thank you, Chelsea. I'll ask our students to give their final questions. I see a lot of them are repetitive. We have answered them. If your question is related to MPT or travel letter, what's the email that they can contact again, Chelsea, just as a reminder?
So orientation@columbiacollege.ca or admissions@columbiacollege.ca. If it's the travel letter, it should be coming to, the AO that you've been working with or the admissions inbox. But if it's related to orientation and testing, the orientation email is best for that.
And anything for current students, they should contact Student Services?
Student Services, yeah. If you started a program last semester, so in May or January, you are a continuing student, please contact Student Services because they are the ones that can help you with anything related to registration, courses, portal. Admissions cannot help you, okay? You need to go to the other team.
I think this is all of the questions that we got for today's session. We will provide you with the emails that you can contact in case you have very specific questions. Again, we avoid answering very specific cases on a live video just so students don't get confused. So if your case is very specific, we recommend you to email us directly and we can help you then. Anything else, Claire and Chelsea, you would like to add for us to wrap up this session today?
Just that we look forward to meeting you and safe travels.
Yeah, absolutely. My final word is always the same. We're super excited to see you guys, but in this challenging times, we just ask that you pay attention, that you read carefully what is required of you, because it is complicated right now and each student's situation is different. So please read carefully, follow the rules, listen to what you're told to do, and be kind and be patient, because we're all dealing with so many things at this time. It's stressful for everybody. Everybody's doing the best they can. And just stay positive. It will get better. You will get to Canada. Everything will happen. So just be patient. And we're super, super excited to actually have a school on campus for the fall. It's really going to be a lot of fun. And just another thing, just please pay attention to changing rules, guys. There's announcements that come very quickly. We will always do our best to disseminate this information, but you also have a responsibility to stay on top of rules and regulations for travel, admission, and all of this as well, because they are changing as we see every month. Basically, something new comes. So that's it for me, guys. Have fun, travel safe. We hopefully will see you in person. You can come find us in our offices instead of on a screen for the first time in almost 2 years. So it'll be really exciting to have you.
Thank you. And then just on the screen here, as a reminder, the emails that you can reach out to for your specific cases. And again, thank you so much for joining our live session today. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We'll post updates there. And that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, morning, night. Bye.